Okay, so let's continue. We're gonna start doing the lingual triangular ridges now. So we're gonna start with the first premolar. Okay, this tooth will probably not going to have a major triangular ridge, and most of the time it will not contact. But sometimes it does. Okay, so it looks like we did catch a contact there. It's a little hard. We're going to take a little bit of it away. So just leave that little contact there. Okay, so we have that contact right here. Okay, that one crushed it pretty badly, so I have to take a little bit of the top off and see if we can get a lighter contact there. That sometimes happens when we put that cusp a little bit close to the opposing cusp. If we don't leave enough room between this lingual cusp and the opposing cusp, the lingual slope of the opposing cusp. So let's see. Okay, we got a contact there. Still a bit hard, but I think it's okay. So we're going to just divide these triangular ridges so we have a central groove there. Then we're gonna start on the mesiolingual cusp of the lower first molar. Now generally what I'll do with this triangular ridge is I kind of go into a little bit of a curve right towards the central pit. Okay, remember, triangular, so I'm going to take a little bit of this away here. It's going to look like it's going toward the central pit there. We want to make sure that we don't put too much wax on that instrument, because if we do, then it's very easy for us to fuse the two triangular ridges together. So we want to just a little wider on the bottom here. Okay, once we lose the shine, we close it. And we have a contact. Again, it's a kind of a hard contact, so lighten it up a little. And we smooth it. Let's see if we can get a nice small contact here. It's still deep. So let's take off all of the wax from the instrument. Let's see if we can just take off a little bit of wax from here. A little more. If we take a look at these cusp tips, they're a little bit high, so when we started contacting this triangular ridge, it's starting to become concave, and that means that this cusp tip is a bit too high, so we're going to shorten that, and let's see if we can get a convex shape in this area. And then we'll have to also shorten the adjacent cusp here. And then we do a little bit more on the lingual developmental groove. And let's see if we can get that triangular ridge a little bit more convex. Okay, it's lightening up now. Now we just add a tiny bit. Okay, so there we are, perfect. So we have the little dot there. Now we move on to the distal triangular ridge. divide this. Okay. And I bring that a little bit to the distal. We have to make sure we don't overheat the wax, because this is what happens when we do. We have to make sure that we divide those. We have to make sure we divide those triangular ridges. Let's see where we are with those cusps in there. Okay. I should add a little bit more. Remember, you're better off adding little by little than adding a whole lot and crushing the entire cusp. At this again from the back, and this cusp is going right in by where the groove is on the upper, on the maxillary, where the oblique groove goes in. That's exactly where that cusp is going, so that's why we're starting to add so much wax here. We're trying to reach that area, and if we cannot reach it in a reasonable height of that margin, of that triangular ridge, then we're not going to bother, because then we're going to end up making this triangular ridge so high that it's going to look strange. And since we already have 1, 2, 3 contact here, we have 4, and we have 5 here, we have 6 on the upper, so we have plenty of contacts to stabilize the tooth. Okay, so we did finally achieve it. It's right here, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4. So now we're going to start with the second molar, and I'm going to make a little extra room here so we can get some space there for the triangular ridges here. So this triangular ridge here looks like it's coming a little bit too close to the... It's actually going over the central groove, so I'm going to shorten this a little bit here to make sure we get the central groove in the right place. So what this, I'm also going to start in the middle. And I'm going to curve this ridge a little bit, and then we will come up at the cusp tip. Then we're going to divide the triangular ridge, since we kind of encroached on this one. Try to widen it a little bit. And the bottom there. Let's close it and see. Okay, it looks like we picked up the contact right down in there. Let's clean this up a little bit, and then we put in the lingual. Let's see the disposition of that cusp. That's also going into the maxillary oblique groove right here. That's going right in here from here. You see, right there. So we expect to add a little bit more to that in order to gain contact. I'm going to try to get the contact on the mesial portion of the triangular ridge if I can. Okay, so we got it right here. So now we move on to the contralateral side, and we're going to start straight from first premolar. Add a little bit there. So we got the first contact, it's right here. The more precisely you place these cusps, the easier it will be to get the contact without actual adjustments on the teeth themselves, like we did on the other side. We made the lingual cusps a little bit too high, so we ended up with a concave ridge there. Okay, let's take a look at the other side. It looks like we're pretty precise with our cusps to have enough space, and the cusp tips are short enough. So we should be able to get contacts pretty quickly on these. Okay, so we got a contact right there. Next one. Again, we start around the central pit. And then we go out a little bit towards the mesial. And then curve up toward the cusp tip. Then I'm going to make this bottom portion of it a little bit wider towards the mesial part of the triangular ridge. And then once it solidifies, we're going to define the central groove a little bit. I'll close it, make sure we're not overdoing it. It's very easy to overdo it and then smash the entire triangular ridge. So I'm just kind of drawing a line there to separate the two triangular ridges. Clean it up a little bit, see if we can get contact. Not yet. I'm gonna take a look at it on the lingual as well. See if we can get contact there. It looks like we should be able to. Okay, contact's right there. Let's lighten it up a little bit. Same thing. Alright, that should be good enough. Clean up the central groove again. And our contact is right about there. Okay, move on to the distal triangular ridge, the distal lingual. Widen it on the bottom. Just be very careful with the heat. Check out the lingual, see where we're going. And looks like we should be able to do a good contact there. We have a contact. Actually good. It's very tiny and it's right here. So the next one, I'll move on to the mesiolingual of the second molar. Let's make some extra room there. It's a little bit tight. Too much coffee. Okay, so I'm gonna start right in the center here. It up. Let it cool a little bit. Let's close it. Okay, that was easy. It's right here. It's a little bit large, so I'm gonna maybe make it a little smaller. Up. we are. And our last one on the mandibular. Try to get the teardrop shape. Sometimes if you are doing this waxing, if the bottom part of the wax up is still warm and you add a little wax on top, it'll flow down, and this will allow you to not have to put the instrument all the way down in the grooves and possibly melting them. Okay. Let's check and see where that cusp is. And we may be able to get a contact right there in the mesial of that triangular ridge, because we have this central cusp going right into the central fossa. So if we add a little extra to the mesial here, just make sure you don't heat the instrument up too much, because a drop of hot wax can wipe out your grooves. And there we are, our last contact here. So the next step will be making our grooves and ridges, secondary ridges if we can. We don't necessarily have to do too many secondary ridges as long as we have our major developmental grooves in the correct places, such as the buccal and lingual developmental grooves, the mesial and distal marginal grooves, and only after that we can go ahead and start playing around with putting secondary ridges. If we can't fit them, don't put them in. You're better off putting in some kind of a secondary depression that signifies the developmental grooves. Okay, so let's move on.